Hello, everyone. My name is Ania Toot. My major is in management, and my current profession is in internal auditing. In this presentation, I analyze how internal auditing is written about and communicated across the three different genres to see how purpose, audience, and style or message change across the different genres. What is a discourse analysis? Well, it examines how communication can differ by purpose, audience, and message. It also focuses on specific language, structure, and purpose in writing. The main objective is to develop a better understanding of critical language awareness and comparing how rhetorical situations in different genres explain the author's purposes and message. In other words, I'm looking at each genre's rhetorical situation to learn what each genre values and how that shapes behavior in internal auditing. These are my three sources. So the first source is the academic writing, and it speaks about the effect internal audit has on organizations and basically why it's needed. The second source is a popular source, and it was published by Forbes, and this is based on the AI impact on internal audit industry and how it evolves the world of auditing. Lastly, the primary source is an actual auditor's report, which is in practice. But these sources represents research, which is the academic writing, the leadership discourse, which is the popular, and professional documentation, which is the primary source. Setting and exigence. In academic writing, you can see academic writing in like university research or peer-reviewed context. And this particular article, what I use, it really is building evidence for what makes internal audit effective in organizations or companies. The popular source can be found in business media like Forbes, and this particular article explains how AI is impacting impactful for decision makers, which is like management, the board, whoever makes a decision in the organization or company. The primary source can be found in the public sector, and the auditor's report, it demonstrates the accountability and assurance. So for academic writing, researchers tend to write for academics and students. So researchers tend to write for people like on a higher intellectual level and students who need to research for their work. The popular source are written by professionals in the industry, and they are basically writing for executives and senior management, middle management, the board, the decision makers, really. And lastly, the primary source was written by internal auditors, because at the end of your review, you do write an auditor's report. That's the final report. And it's written for the board, management, and the public so they can be informed of what's going on and also be informed of our recommendation on how to mitigate any risk or how to make anything better. Subject and content. So this is what's included in academic writing: methods, data, models, tables, results, and minimal opinion can be found. And it is found in this particular article, but it can be found in academic writing. Popular source, usually, at least for this particular article, it used like real world applications and examples, but it didn't use any formal methodology. It used like trends, example, recommendation. Now for primary source, the audit scope was included, the findings, of course, ratings, of course, implications, and recommendations. Let me go back. So basically, academic is evidence, which is informing. Popular is persuasion, and primary is just like verifying, it's the assurance. Okay, so rhetorical appeals and tone. In the academic writing, they appeal more to logos, which is the statistics, data, citations. Actually, in this particular article, they use 131 references. And it also used ethos, which is the peer-reviewed, and it gives it a more formal tone of the writing. The popular source used pathos, which is like the impact of AI. It also talks about like the urgency on why you need to use AI right now. It also used ethos, which is like examples. It also used like the author credibility, and it gives it more of like a persuasive tone. Primary use logos, which is like evidence, the criteria in audit. And it also use ethos, which is the professional standards, which is also audit. And it gives more like a neutral and objective tone, like an unbiased tone. Because audit is strictly unbiased. Well, it should be. Format and visual design. In the academic writing, it used more like long paragraphs, tables, and citations, when the popular source used short paragraphs, like bold subheadings to bring the attention, and visuals, which is like more appealing to the public, because academic is strictly for like students, other people in the industry, and then popular is more like for a broader demographic. So you use like short paragraphs, bold subheadings, and visual to attract the public. The primary source use executive summary, audit objectives, criteria, finding tables, ratings, and follow-up status, which is the norm for auditors' reports. So the diction and sentence pattern. The academic use more like a technical vocabulary, which a broader demographic may not understand or may need to research certain diction. And it also uses complex syntax. The popular source use like regular words, everyday words, short and clear sentences, and they try to be very concise, which you would find in a lot of business articles. The primary use jargon, which would be like the criteria, condition, cause and effect, and recommendation. It also give a passive, objective voice. Oh, and primary also implement management response, because management response have to be in all audit reports. What these patterns reveal. So in academic writing, the patterns reveal that values, rigor, and theory that guide policies and training. The popular source basically values accessibility and the relevance for a quick impact for AI on internal audit industry. And the primary source value the assurance and accountability for decision making. Ooh, go back. So these genres all together kind of keep the system balanced. It uses research that informs the practice, and media moves leaders, and the reports enforce improvement. Implications for business management and internal auditing. Apply academic finance to training governance framework. You can use popular trends to anticipate technology shifts and write clear audit reports with measurable recommendations, timelines, and the owners of certain areas of function. And this is the actual references, citations for the sources. And that is the end of my presentation. Thank you for watching.